Welcome to the JK Adventure Dynatrac Trail Series Rear Dana 60 Axle Installation video. This rear axle is being installed on this 2008 Jeep Wrangler JK. Here are a few shots of the brand new Dana 60 sitting in my garage. As you can see, this thing is a beauty. Prior to installation, I had to make a few modifications because of the lift kit I am running. The track bar bracket seen here is designed by Metal Cloak to allow for extreme stuff at the tires into the wheel well. I had to cut off a few parts of this bracket to make it work, and to install it on the new axle, I will need to cut the Dynatrac track bar bracket as well. Here is the area which must be cut. As you can see here, the Metal Cloak bracket fits perfectly now and can be bolted to the axle tube and the control arm bracket. I later welded the bracket to the Dynatrac track bar bracket. Metal Cloak also makes their own lower shock mounts, which I installed on the Dynatrac control arm brackets as shown here. Here is the setup all done and waiting for installation. Here is the Jeep up on jack stands with wheels removed and the shocks and drive shaft disconnected. First I disconnected the sway bar links. Next to be removed was the brake calipers. I usually hang the calipers from bungee cords to keep the brake lines from getting damaged. Then remove the brake disc by just pulling it towards you. This should come off pretty easily. Now remove the emergency brake cable. I used two vice grips to hold the tabs in and pulled the cable toward the center of the vehicle. The cable can then be pulled out of the other bracket. Remove the electrical connection from the speed sensor by pulling back the little red clip and the connector will disconnect. Now unbolt the sensor and remove it. The hub is then unbolted from the axle flange. I tap the hub with a mallet to get it to come out of the axle. As you pull the axle out of the housing, be advised that differential fluid will pour out of the tubes. Have a drip pan under the tube end to catch the fluid. Remove the brake hub and dust shield and place them aside for reuse. Unbolt the track bar and the control arms, remove the springs, and your old axle is ready to be removed. Slide the new axle under the Jeep and reinstall the control arms. I bolted on the uppers first and then the lowers. Put the springs back into place. Next, pull out the axles to install the stock hubs and dust shields. Reinstall the axles in the tubes and move them around until they mesh up with the gears. The bearings need to be pushed into the end of the tubes and the flange bolts lined up. Thread the nuts onto the bolts and tighten them down gradually in a pattern that will pull the hub in evenly. Reinsert the speed sensor, bolt it back down, and reattach the electrical connector. The brake rotor can then be reinstalled by sliding it back on the wheel studs. Reinstall the brake calipers using the two bolts you removed earlier. Now bolt the sway bar links onto the new brackets. Reinstall the lower shock bolts and bolt the track bar back to the track bar bracket. The last thing to hook back up is the emergency brake cable. That's it! Of course, the pinion length of a Dana 60 is a little longer than a Dana 44, so I sent my drive shaft to Tom Wood to get it shortened. You also want to make sure you have a track bar which will clear the much larger differential cover. Here is a shot of the axle after a little abuse, testing. It works flawlessly and I am extremely happy with my decision to get another Dynatrac axle for my rig. To see this axle being built, check out the JK Adventure video on the rear Dynatrac Dana 60 build. Also, check out the many other installation and product testing videos at jkadventure.com. Thanks for watching.